I lost two brothers in a plane crash. And then I went gliding with a pilot, and I went tandem skydiving. And I felt something that I didn't think I would feel. I was surprised. I felt peace. And you know what? I didn't do it in spite of it. I did it because of it. And the reason I wrote down my bucket list was to make it real and tangible and something I could check off and not dream about. I was always excited about doing some of these things and saw other people do them, or, I don't know, they just seemed intriguing to me and kept my mind creative and something to look forward to. When you retire, it doesn't mean that you just fade off into the sunset and sit in a chair somewhere knitting, or not that knitting is a bad thing, but just, in a sedentary type of lifestyle that you've done for the last 40 years. So make it adventurous, whether, like I said, it's a flower garden, or it's taking up dance lessons or yoga, or whatever, you feel that you need to explore for your own self-satisfaction, then do it. It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks about it. And believe me, you'll be so satisfied and so fulfilled once you do that, it just makes you feel alive a little bit more than you probably thought you could be. Some of the things that were on my bucket list was I went skydiving, I was in a glider, I drove an Audi R8 Spider, I went ziplining, scuba certification, whitewater rafting, and I had visited some of my favorite cities. I was particularly close with my oldest brother that died in the plane crash, and he was adventurous. He approached me one time to learn how to ski, so he showed up at my door and he said, "Come on, you're coming with me." And I said, "Well, where am I going?" And he said, he says, "You're going to teach me how to ski today." And so we packed up my skis and we went to the nearest ski hill and went straight to the top. He wasn't going halfway. And I explained to him the techniques of skiing, and that was his first skiing adventure. And it's a great memory for me to have. But when I was getting ready to skydive, what I did is I just sat in the plane and I reflected on how adventurous he was and how he loved to fly. And I don't know, it just gave me a sense of peace, and I was able to do it. And I was so glad I did. And let's be honest, at this age, skydiving bucket list isn't for everyone, and that's not the point. The point is that putting down something in writing, something that you want to do, something that engages your mind and keeps you creative and lets you learn something new, gets you past that fear of, geez, I've always wanted to do something, but I just was so scared to do it. That's the whole point of a bucket list. It's important that as you get into retirement and you have perhaps a little more time, and you want to step out of your comfort zone, then that bucket list is the perfect way to do it. So a bucket list could be something as easy as creating a flower garden, or reading 10 books in 30 days, or connecting with an old friend, or learning a new skill like yoga, or exercise in some way, shape, or form. It doesn't have to be big and grandiose like my list was, but that's just what I wanted to do and challenge myself in my the years leading up to my retirement, and even in my retirement. So I've done everything on my first bucket list. I'm creating a second bucket list, and even though it's exciting and challenging and scary at times and that, it's also fun. So drop a comment below and let me know what's the one thing that you've been putting off that you would love to do, and share it with me. I'd be interested in hearing it. And if you're interested in continuing to follow my journey as I reimagine my retirement, then subscribe, and we'll go on this journey together.